The following program is made possible with the support of Papa John's Pizza, Sam's Club, and PortCityDaily.com.
We're heading down the stretch of the high school football season. Regular season finale coming your way on Friday night across the Wilmington area. Hey everybody, Joe Katz here from PortCityDaily.com. Welcome to our local show, Sports Roundtable, produced by New Hanover County Schools TV. Each week, we talk with the coaches from across New Hanover County, go over game highlights from the past Friday night. Introducing our first guest tonight, the assistant coach, inside linebackers coach for New Hanover High School, John Fuller. Coach Fuller is stepping in for Coach Earl Smith this week as Coach Smith is unable to attend the show. And a little history on Coach Fuller and Coach Smith. Coach Smith, a longtime coach at the high school ranks within the Raleigh area, now down here in Wilmington. He actually coached Coach Fuller while he was in high school at Raleigh Millbrook, brought Coach on the staff at New Hanover High School during his first stint here in Wilmington in the early 2000s, and somehow Coach Fuller has stuck with the New Hanover football program all the way to 2016, where he now is back with Coach Smith again, reunited with his former high school coach. So I guess we'll start right there, Coach. To have your former high school coach now kind of directing you as an assistant coach, how has that whole connection gone and relationship been over the last really 20 or so years?
It's a little weird. It was weird at first because, you know, when I was playing for him, I was player and coach, and now it's coach to coach. The amount of respect I have for that man it can never be measured. But we made the adjustment well. You know, I kind of got over it after a while, but it's funny to see his coaching style when I played for him versus now. I mean, he's still just as intense. It's just different. I get to see it from a different angle, I guess.
And you both, unfortunately, have a few more gray hairs moving
One or two.
into
One or two. Yes, sir.
2016 now. Coach Smith, again, couldn't be here tonight. And a big shout-out to your son, Caleb Fuller, yes. Appalachian State defensive end, picked up a sack this past week against Georgia Southern in the Sun Belt Conference.
I made that road trip. Was back in time to be there for the varsity game on Friday night, but any chance I get to go watch my boy play, I'm going to be there. So
yeah, that was a long trip all the way to Statesboro for the
Actually,
game.
it's not as far to get. It's about the same amount of time to drive from here to Boone as it is to drive to Savannah where we were staying, so it wasn't that bad.
Well, let's get to the task at hand. The New Hanover Wildcats moved to 4-1 in the conference, 6-4 overall, following a 46-17 win up in Hampstead against Topsail. And Coach, 500 yards of total offense, 2 defensive touchdowns. Clicking on all cylinders, let's take a look at some of the highlights from Friday night's game, a 46-17 win over Topsail.
Well, we start out here on offense, trying to get some more receivers involved, and Malcolm Hill's been coming on here lately for us, and to see him get his hands on the football and just get upfield and be positive is great for us. And here's that guy again, Wiz Vaughn. It's hard to stop him. Get him in space, and you can see what he does with the football. So it's always good to see him get in the end zone.
Yeah, Wiz hit a little rut over the last couple of weeks, but it's good to see him find the end zone there against Topsail.
And the defense just stepping up. Grant Daly again, just going crazy like he normally does. And you know, I give Keegan Santos a hard time about this run because he runs about 80 yards sideways and goes only about 50 yards north and south, but he likes to wiggle and jiggle, so that's how he does it. But I'm not mad at him. He got us out of a hole there and got us in good field position to keep the drive alive.
Yeah, big gain there from Santos. The quarterback, Blake Walston, went 11 of 20 this past week, 279 yards in the air.
Once again, Nas Brown leading that defense, get a good stop for us. There's a good job right here by Francis Meehan, our other quarterback, just get the ball out of his hands and get the ball in our playmakers. I believe that's Wiz again. It's Wiz or Freddie. The numbers look so close to me I can hardly tell sometimes. But the offense continues to drive, and it's good to see Blake complete this ball to Lamont. Lamont's been kind of in a little bit of a rut himself, but to see him get in the end zone again is always positive for him. He's a big part of our offense. And to see Jemias get another tackle, that's a big dude, and he's hard to block. So once again, they're just getting after it on defense. I can't complain.
Jemias Williams, a Shrine Bowl selectee this year.
And once again, Wiz Vaughn just making people miss, and you see the speed that is able to help him get free and give him a long touchdown run. So it was good to see him get going again.
A little road runner there. As soon as he broke that free, you saw
knew he was gone.
Yeah, in the dust.
Yeah. Once again, Nas and Grant they get mad at me because the tackles they make all the time. They're 1 and 2 in the area. I think they're fairly close to the top, but they're always getting after people. So it's good to see them go. And defense just swarming again. Khalil right there on that tackle. Khalil Barfield, yeah. It's good to see Jairi Taylor get a ball. They're spreading the ball around, getting some other guys involved, which is good for our offense.
Jairi has emerged as one of the better receivers at tight end for you this season.
This is a good play by Jairi just to keep going and keep moving. And always good things happen when you keep moving and stay active in the offense.
55-yard touchdown catch right there for Jairi.
And that's Jemias. I was talking to some of the guys, and when he hit that quarterback, I really was wondering if that guy was questioning his commitment, continue playing football, because that's a big dude to get hit like that. So good job by Seika Marty to get the touchdown. And Khalil right there, Barfield Tony making another big stop in the backfield for us. This offense is just, when they want to, they can get going. It's also, once again, we spread the ball around a lot, and to see Javion Hall get a big burst for a touchdown is always positive for us. So more guys involved in the offense makes us much more harder to defend, I think. So. And defense, once again, just trying to be active and make big hits for us. So.
Yeah, big plays for you. Defense controls the line of scrimmage. Your inside linebackers having a pretty good season in Nas Brown and Grant Daly.
Yeah.
And, with that offense, as you said, when you're able to spread the ball to a number of different receivers, get the ball to Wiz Vaughn, among others, Lamont Howard, Malcolm Hill, you're tough to game plan for when you head into a Friday night kickoff.
It makes it tough. The more weapons you can display, that's more guys you have to game plan for. I mean, we get to see those guys every day in practice. So the one things we talk about with our DBs and outside linebackers, if you can figure out a way to stop this offense, you ought to be in pretty good shape, when you go into a Friday night. I mean, every team that, we're going to face and have faces, every team's got weapons. So, I feel like, our offense is pretty good. And if they can line up and stop those guys, they ought to have a good chance to be fairly successful.
Defense will get to tee it up again on Friday against South Brunswick at home, your final senior night game. A lot of seniors on this team that have helped contribute to this program. Should be an interesting next couple of weeks as you'll have a bye week after the South Brunswick game leading up to the playoffs. Coach, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you filling in for Coach Smith, and we will talk to you. I'll see you at practice later on this week.
I'll be there.
Coach John Fuller, he coaches the inside linebackers at New Hanover High School. The Wildcats 46-17 winners over Topsail, 4-1 in the division, 6-4 overall. They'll play at home against South Brunswick on Friday night. We'll take our first time out here on tonight's show. Sports Roundtable coming your way, second quarter of action with the head coach of the Laney Buccaneers, Ashad Yeoman, right after this. Welcome back to Sports Roundtable, high school football fans, as we continue to look at highlights and interviews from this past Friday night across the Wilmington area. I'm Joe Katz from PortCityDaily.com, and the feature game of the week this past Friday was down in Chilotas. The Laney Buccaneers were coming off their bye week to play a West Brunswick team that has had some success this season in the Mid-Eastern Conference, but it was all Laney from the get-go. 27 points to start the ball game. Imeke Watkins rushes for over 100 yards, 3 touchdowns. Sophomore Jason Billingsley gets into the end zone with 2 trips across the goal line, and Laney did enough in the first half to overcome a sluggish second half, but it was 34-14 the final score as the Laney Buccaneers picked up a big road win against West Brunswick. Coach Ashad Yeoman joining me on stage this evening. And Coach, you couldn't ask for a better start, obviously 27-0 in that, coming off that bye week, using a couple extra days to refocus and prepare for that West Brunswick ground attack, and you did a great job.
Thank you. It was going to be tough. We knew that, and it was that senior night. We watched them on film, and those guys played really, really good football. And I'm just proud of the guys and the effort that they showed right in the beginning of the game because, again, like you said, us starting fast helped propel us to the victory.
That first drive of the ball game, I think you rushed downfield in maybe 2 minutes' time, basically short field thanks to a Watkins good kickoff return. But was that kind of the game plan going in, that we wanted to stay up-tempo on the offense to keep them kind of back on their heels? Well,
I think that is something that we like to try to incorporate. It's just a feel type of thing. We want to see, if it's going, that's why we want to hit it. If it's not, we need to slow it down a little bit, then that's what we'll do. Defense does a great job stuffing a premier running attack here in the area, 34-14. Laney picks up a win against West Brunswick. Let's look at some of the highlights. Starting out first drive, again, like you said, we got great field position on the return, and then there's Justin Billingsley on a big run for us, taking us down into the red zone and putting us in position to put the ball in for a score. So You know, he started out the game with some good, nice runs, and then there's Sherrod Sidbury making a great read, taking us down to the goal line, and then again finishing off with Justin Billingsley into the end zone. So that was a great drive to start the ball game and get the momentum going a little bit. This is their first drive here. We got them in 3rd and long. They had some pretty good plays, but penalties end up stifling the drive. And Caden Cezak comes in on the trap, and there he is again, making a stop on the special team. So again, giving us great field position, but we ended up stalling out. We ended up turning the ball over on that particular possession. Again, here's the defense stepping up for us big, even though we turned the ball over and making some crucial stops. We knew that up front, the penetration was going to be what we needed to be successful on the defensive side of the ball with that type of particular offense. And as you can see, when you get penetration from those tackles and some good fight, you know, good things can happen for the defenses. This is us 4th down, and it's about 4th and about 20. And here's Caden Cezak. We told him, you know, before the game, if you see it, you know, take it and run with it, because they had a little tendency there. And he's, again, one of the faster kids on the team, coming up with a big first down for us, keeping that drive going. And then there's Sherrod Sidbury hitting Justin Billingsley there for a nice big gain on 3rd down that we needed. And then there's Sherrod making that great read. And as you can see, they look like they got him dead to rights, but I tell you what, man, Amik Watkins, he's a quick player, man. He's tough to bring down, and you know, we enjoy trying to face him defensively in practice because it gives us a great challenge. And there's somebody we don't talk about very often, but Trayvon McGee, but he's a great defensive end for us as well. So giving him some credit to what he's done. There's Amik Watkins finishing into the end zone there. So once again, we're in 3rd and long. We need to get those chains moving again. And that's just sophomore right there, Daquan Pridgeon, coming up big for us on that particular drive. And then, you know, we didn't want to kick the ball deep because they had some big-time players back there. And then there's Carl Lane with a big hit on that kid from West Brunswick. So proud of the effort that he's made and the jump he's made from his sophomore to his junior year. So they had coughed the ball up the previous play. We had a nice little discussion on where the ball should be, and then the very next play, we actually get it back again, and it was the same kid, Timothy Mills. He lost the first one due to the technicality, and then he picks it up again. But there's a big play again on 3rd down and long to get us in position, and then Justin Billingsley in the flat. A lot of people don't realize how fast that boy is, man, but he can go. You just got to get him strong in the weight room, keep him dedicated, keep his mind right, and do some big things there. And then there's the defensive tackles, again, coming up big. Giving some props to Deontay Hicks and Lewis Powell. Lewis Powell had an awesome game, and very undersized for a defensive tackle, but he has great effort. And that's big when it comes to this game. It's not also all about the size of the guy. Sometimes it's to fight him as well. Again, here's 3rd down. We picked up some crucial 3rd downs right here in this game, and that propelled us to some points. And again, keeping the defense off the field and keeping them fresh. And we had a lot of opportunities to get our hands on him all night long, but a testament to him and his quickness. And we talked about that, you know, Monday through Thursday, about how good that kid was. And he stepped up, he threw the interception there, but that pressure, again, helped propel us to that interception.
That was Trayvon Green who finished up with that interception.
Yes, sir.
There's safety for you. A couple things I took away from this game. Obviously, you get 3 takeaways on the defensive side, and like you mentioned, you're staying ahead of the sticks on big 3rd down conversions throughout the night to help you on key scoring drives. So those are 2 crucial parts of the game. You're going to need those things as you get ready for this final game of the regular season, then of course moving into the postseason.
Oh, absolutely. You know, looking at Coach Turner's team, man, those guys play great football. You know, they've just been unfortunate with some big plays, but they play some sound, good football. So we got a tough one coming up this week. Yeah, and as I know you don't want to look ahead, but after the final game of the regular season, everyone's going to get an off week before we start the playoffs. So, you know, what goes into, or, you know, how do you feel about that extra off week, and how important is it for the guys to kind of stay sharp during that off week to maybe get some guys healthy, but also you got to stay sharp to get ready for the playoffs? Exactly. That's the big thing, staying sharp. So if you got that momentum rolling, that bye week, who knows how that bye week's going to end up for you, but hopefully, again, you get those legs rested and you get those guys sharpening up with their skills and execution. Thanks for stopping by, Coach Yeoman. Senior night coming up in Bucktown on Friday as Laney will play host to Ashley. Regular season finale, the Bucks 34-14 winners over West Brunswick this past week. We'll take another break at the half here on Sports Roundtable. I'm Joe Katz from PortCityDaily.com. We'll catch up with the head coach of the Ashley Screaming Eagles, Jeff Turner, after this.
Second half of tonight's edition of Sports Roundtable coming your way. I'm Joe Katz from PortCityDaily.com. We're covering high school football across New Hanover County. Once again, this week, Ashley Screaming Eagles played host to the Hoggard Vikings this past Friday as we head down the stretch of the Mid-Eastern Conference schedule. Ashley on the wrong end of a 35-6 setback to the Vikings in Monkey Junction. Joining me now here on set is Coach Jeff Turner, second-year coach of the Ashley Screaming Eagles. And, Coach, a tough setback for you, continuing to highlight Corey Whaley, a guy that has been a playmaker for you all season. But just let's go through some thoughts from this past Friday's game.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very emotional game, I think, for the kids, being that, a lot of those seniors are last time. It's been a very adverse season. I thought, we had so many great opportunities and we just didn't capitalize on it. The first drive, we're down in the red zone, didn't put it in the end zone, and down in the second half, it's the second quarter down on the 2-yard line with, down 7-6, and bad snap, fumble the ball, and that's sort of a reflection, and we're not the kind of team that can make those mistakes and regroup from them. We had one kid, Caleb Parker, playing with basically a broken ankle out there. He's limping around, but he's trying to cover, and I just hand it to our kids. It's very, very difficult, but the big picture of what, their emotions were real high, and it was tough, and I don't think, or would expect anyone to understand that that's not there. But I'm proud of the kids. They worked hard, and we just have to move on and try to finish up strong.
That's one of the things I guess you can say about this season. While you've had some, adverse conditions, no question with the injuries and whoever else you've lost or people that you're trying to get back from injury, is that the guys each week, they put in the time in practice and they give you a good effort for the most part. That's all you can ask for, is that you're giving 100% out there on Friday night.
Yeah, and I just wish that obviously it'd be nice to be able to capitalize on some of them. And again, I go back to a couple plays that really could have gave us and made us have a little momentum, because our kids need that, being where they came from and being where their mentality is. And you can't get behind in an established team, that we played, and we just can't do that, and we're not the kind of team that can do that.
Well, one of the confidence builders in that game was a 14-yard drive that was, capitalized with a touchdown. So the confidence was there when you're able to move the ball and get down in the red zone. Obviously, miscues cost you here in this ball game. But let's take a look at some of these highlights from Friday night.
Well, yeah, reflecting, we had almost 300 yards on offense with only 6 points, and that's just discouraging. And that sort of tells it like it is, whether it's you have to be able to capitalize and get it in the end zone, and getting a sack on Josh. I believe that's Josh, number 12. Very good quarterback. He's a great kid. One of the kids I really like over there. But we were strapped with O-line, and Corey sort of stepped in and probably ran him too much, but we were sort of running out of people. And makes a back, turns it back and brings it in. And,
There's a lot of running there for a yard.
Yeah. And then, Caleb trying to get through. I think he should have got in the end zone here, but Caleb's got to learn to finish that. I think, we miss Bradley Plyler, where I believe he finishes that. That's what he was so special. And, Caleb is working sort of off that fractured ankle and sprained ankle.
He's had a number of injuries this season.
Being senior night, he just wanted to give it a try, so we let him go with it. It's just right before the half, and Sean, trying to see what he can do with it. And Sean's a good kid. He's worked hard, and
you get some of these guys in open space there. You've got some athleticism on that team when you're able to get them the ball.
Yeah, it was before the half, so they're playing a little weaker on that. And Jacob, Jacob's. He's not real fast, but he's shifty, and he finds the hole once in a while and did a good job with that. But it was a great crowd, a great atmosphere. I told our student section today that they did a great job, and another pop to Corey Whaley.
Now he's a guy that you didn't have last year, so to have him on this lineup and the way things have panned out, I mean, he's been a huge asset to what you're trying to do.
Yeah, it was great to have him. He's such a great kid. He decided to come to Ashley. He did look at the other schools, but had a real good meeting with him and his mom, and decided to make the go to come to Ashley, and I'm just so happy. He's a very, very nice kid, and he'll go to college and he'll do very well. This is, I believe that's Caleb, who actually, does a great job and then fumbled the ball right there. Starting to move the ball. That was, turnovers killed us. Every turnover, I believe, ended up in probably a score, and I believe that was the game. And we're down in the red zone again in that first quarter. Didn't put any points on, and down on the 2-yard line, fumble the ball, and that's big on a young, not real strong mentality team. So it was discouraging, but just like I told the kids, you played hard, and it'll come our way sometime, I hope.
Well, what's the biggest part of this week moving into this final road test of the season when you go up against a team like Laney?
Well, I'll tell you, they just have so many weapons, and they always have. They're just so athletic, so strong, and we just have to be fundamentally sound and come out and be ready to play, because that's a good team. I mean, them going up to West Brunswick and doing what they did, and I think they're one of the most talented teams in our conference with the athletes that they have, and so it's going to be a tough go for us again. But we'll strap on the helmets and we'll go out today. We'll be out on the practice field, and we're going to work hard and have a good attitude and go from there.
Coach Jeff Turner of the Ashley Screaming Eagles. Coach Turner, thanks for stopping by. We'll catch up with you next week.
Thank you.
Coach Turner of the Ashley Screaming Eagles. Ashley heads to Laney in the regular season finale coming up on Friday night. Take another quick time out here on Sports Roundtable. Catch up with the head coach of the Hoggard Vikings, Craig Underwood, after this quick break. Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Roundtable. I'm Joe Katz from PortCityDaily.com, wrapping up the fourth quarter of tonight's edition of the show, produced by New Hanover County Schools TV. Hoggard Vikings on the road at Ashley picked up a 35-6 victory. Thanks for Coach Turner stopping by last segment to analyze the Screaming Eagles side of the field. Now Coach Craig Underwood of the Hoggard Vikings is going to stop by here on Sports Roundtable. And Coach, before we get to the segment, got to say thank you again for having me out to practice this past week. Did a little Facebook Live segment where we talked with the kickers and the field goal unit, and they took me through a successful field goal attempt. And I appreciate you allowing them to share about 15 or 20 minutes with me to teach me the ins and outs of what it takes to convert a field goal.
Well, those guys don't always get recognized, so we appreciated you coming out. It was a fun deal.
35-6 victory. You're back at the 500 mark overall, 4-1 in the conference. I have to say, it must feel nice to have a receiver like Colin Hare back in the lineup for you.
I'll tell you, we lost Colin in the Pine Forest game, and really didn't get him back to full strength until this game, and he's shown what he's capable of. Had a huge night Friday night.
Yeah, I believe he and Josh Jones connected on 4 touchdown receptions, and really the play, your quarterback Josh Jones, has really stood out to me over the last couple of weeks, doing it on the ground, through the air, not turning the ball over, doing some big things, and that's what you want from really a second-year varsity quarterback now moving through the end of his junior season. Yeah,
he's really taking the reins and doing a great job, and again, having the weapon of Colin back. Those two got so many reps together through the offseason that, when you lost that piece, it really kind of threw our offense for a little bit of a whirlwind, and feel like things are clicking. So very excited right now.
Well, good time to be playing your best football as we take a look at some of the highlights from the 35-6 victory. A couple of turnovers on defense as well, as we'll see here in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah. This is Austin Edwards, junior H-back. Just a kid that's really come a long way throughout the season. He's a workhorse in the weight room, and you see there breaking tackles and getting down the field. You mentioned Josh as a dual threat. Here's Josh on just an inside power, creases and shows his speed there. I coach track as well, and he's on our 4x1 team, so he's deceptively fast, I'll say that. Here we get on the defensive side of the football. Reese Moulton, who's he's really had a big year at safety for us. Heavily involved. Again, defensive force 4 turnovers. That's Christian Holler coming through, Lloyd Giroux scooping it. They blew it dead, not really sure why. The ball was never touched, but felt like that one could have gone for 6. But we do end up getting points off the turnover. Our offense just outstanding. We had 4 turnovers forced by the defense, and the offense got points off of every one of them. So There's Colin. This is right before the half. It was a close game for the first quarter. Both teams really pushing each other. Coach Turner had some good adjustments in there in terms of surprise elements he brought. But here, right before the half, just Josh to Colin on multiple receptions to set up a touchdown there. A little double move, fooled the corner. Was really a perfectly thrown ball by Josh. Great route and great ball. Coming back in the second half, they had done some stuff, wildcat formation, things that they had not shown on film, so credit to coach for that. But I felt like our guys adjusted well. It did lead to some yards, but not points. So our guys really rallied into the football. Missed some tackles early, was disappointed in that, but came back and really had a strong tackling second half. Here we go. We talked so much about Colin and Josh in this game, but our run game, Tony and Rashad, you combine them, it was about 150 yards rushing, 200 yards passing. It was really well done. There's Colin on another touchdown reception. So again, those guys, it's a special connection. I'll say that Josh and Colin seem to have. Trying to get us on the screen and go here. Christian Holler, great interception, just great read. Little action after the whistle there, but a little bootleg here. Third down call. Love the call by Coach Demick. Just a great route again by Colin, getting open in the end zone. That's a route we've repped a lot through 7-on-7. Again, Ashley had gotten into these wildcat packages. They put number 4 back there at quarterback, and he was having some success. So we called a timeout, adjusted, and were able to get the fourth down stop there. Again, using a little motion, opening up a nice little screen here. Again, you're seeing the speed that Trey Hauser has. He scores on a reverse. I think it'll show up here and right here actually. I do want to point out on this play, our center pulling around to the top side. You'll see a big block, Poppy Poulos, just pancakes the perimeter player, and that really set off the play there. Isaiah Kemp had an interception there at the end. So a lot of guys just all over the field stepping up in such a big rivalry game. Was proud of them.
Big team effort for you. When you look at an offensive side of the football, you talk about playmakers and guys maybe in the other teams in the Mid-Eastern Conference about a number of their playmakers, but really with Rashad Toney in the backfield, Josh Jones being able to run it, throw it, and then you got that receiving core of Colin Hare, Chet Raddick, and Trey Hauser to go along with a pretty solid offensive line. You got to be pretty confident with your offensive bunch here and what they're doing in the last couple of weeks.
I really feel like they're starting to roll, and it does start with that offensive line. I want to recognize those guys. Poppy Poulos at center just made that big block, but Labib Ishmael and Alex Alkias, our 3 seniors on the O-line that really anchor it, and then Donovan Simmons and Mason McKeithen on the right side have really stepped up as juniors and grown each week. I mean, you're starting to see a big push out of that right side.
Don't want to overlook, obviously, the regular season finale against Topsail, but after you finish this game, you're going to get an open week, something not really familiar with anyone playing high school football here. You usually go right into the first round of the playoffs, but because of the effects of Hurricane Matthew, High School Athletic Association pushed the start of the playoffs back 1 week, so you're going to get an unorthodox type of off week leading into the first round of the playoffs after you play Topsail. How do you approach that week, following the final game of the regular season?
I'll tell you, first off, it's the Super Bowl Friday night. We got to go. We're playing for a conference championship against Topsail at home. It's our senior night, so that's our focus right now. But looking in terms of just initial thoughts about that, is certainly going to be cleaning up fundamentals and things that will hopefully prepare us for a playoff run.
Final home game in the regular season coming up on Shipyard Boulevard Friday night as the Hoggard Vikings will take on the Topsail Pirates on senior night. Coach Underwood, thanks for stopping by, and we'll talk to you next week. That will do it for the latest edition of Sports Roundtable. Final week of the regular season coming your way, 7 o'clock kickoffs across the Wilmington area, New Hanover County on Friday night. For everyone here at New Hanover County Schools TV, I'm Joe Katz, and we'll talk to you next time.